Right now at 6 o'clock, a man gunned down in Hartford, and now police are looking for his killers. Brooke Griffin will have the latest from police.
A stolen car investigation ends with an officer shooting a suspect. What police say happened in those tragic moments in West Hartford.
Also, a mother whose son fell out of a third-story window and died is now asking the community for help as she's facing criminal charges. The news at 6 starts right now.
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
6 o'clock on a Thursday. Good morning, sunshine. It's a dry start to the day, but we can expect some rain this evening. Thank you for joining us here. I'm Symphony Privet.
And I'm Tim Lammers. Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on Fox 61, fox61.com, and Fox 61 Plus. A lot of ways to get your news and your forecast. So for that, let's get over to meteorologist Matt Scott. Got some rain coming?
Yeah, and all the ways that we show you the news and the weather are going to tell you the same thing. Stand by later on tonight. Maybe a little bit of trouble. Good to have you along at 6:01. Couple of storms this afternoon. Some of them may be strong. Talking about humidity, kind of all over the place. A little bit higher today, but we'll break it for Friday. And the weekend's mostly dry. Not completely dry, but mostly dry. Cloud and radar picture is quiet. Look off to the west. There's a cluster of showers and storms pushing through western Pennsylvania, moving into Erie, PA. Not quite into Buffalo yet. Temperatures in the 60s, up to 70 degrees in New Haven, 65 in Hartford. Here's the timeline later on. You're going to see a couple of cells blossom up. You see the colors indicative of what may be some strong stuff for the 5 o'clock commute. By about 9, 10 o'clock, things are starting to wind down a bit. So not a long-lasting event, but with everyone being out there on the roads later on today, that's a concern. Still looking at eastern, southeastern Connecticut primarily for a better chance for severe weather. Storm Prediction Center has us under a level 1 for New London County and up and down 395 closer to the split over in Waterford and East Lyme. So here's the forecast, looking for the potential for some storms later on today. Let's look at about 4 to 9 o'clock for that kind of trouble. Talk about where we're going for the weekend. That's coming up in a few minutes. If you're going out on the roads this morning, 6:02. Let's check in with Rachel Piscatelli for a look at traffic.
Hey, good morning, Matt. No incidents to report at this hour, which is nice to see. Some road work wrapping up, but the delays that we had over in Milford are running smoothly now. We'll show you a live look outside over in Hartford, just out by Jennings Road, 91 north and southbound, leaving and entering the capital city. Looking pretty good this morning with rather light volume. Over in New Haven, 95 running smoothly, and over in Milford we had some earlier road work that was blocking 2 lanes. That has cleared. Traffic is light and running smoothly. New Haven to Hartford, it's 34 minutes on the flip side of the southbound side of 91. Looking pretty good. In Metro North, Amtrak, Shoreline East, and your Hartford line all reporting on time at 6:03. Guys, back to you.
Alrighty, thank you, Rachel. Developing this morning, Hartford police are searching for the people who shot and killed a man last night.
Yeah, this happened on Barber Street near Charlotte Street. Now, Fox 61's Brooke Griffin is live at police headquarters, not too far away, with more on what investigators know this early in the morning. Brooke, good morning.
Good morning to you both. Hartford police say this is actually the 3rd shooting that's taken place within that area within just the past month. But they say this morning their focus is really on trying to find the 3 suspects involved, but also trying to determine if any of these shootings are related to each other. Hartford police say they watched surveillance video from that area last night, and it shows just before 10 o'clock, a man by the name of Teron Nixon was walking down Barber Street when he saw 3 men waiting for him to pass by. That's when police say those 3 men pulled out guns and started shooting at that victim. Officers tell us the victim also pulled out a gun and tried to shoot back at the suspects, but none of them appeared to be hit. Police say when they arrived, they found Nixon lying on the ground with multiple gunshot wounds. Officers tell us he was taken to the hospital, but unfortunately, that's where he died from his injuries. Now, this is the 3rd shooting in this area within the past month. Back on July 18th, a man died and another man was hurt in a drive-by shooting outside a restaurant. Police have not announced any arrest made in that case. Another man was shot in the same block on July 31st. He survived. Police say it's too early to tell if these shootings are related, but of course they could use any information that anyone may have on any of these 3 shootings. They say if you do have something you can share, go ahead and call police here at the department, or you can call Crime Stoppers anonymously. Live in Hartford, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Brooke, thank you. In West Hartford this morning, police said that deadly shooting involving a police officer earlier this week started as a stolen car investigation. They said it all started on New Britain Avenue Tuesday evening when police tried to stop two men in a stolen car. Officers tried to pop their tires to get the car to stop moving, but eventually the car crashed. Police said the two men inside tried to run away. Officers said they arrested one of them, 47-year-old Lyle Salisbury. They said the other man ran into a tire center where he got into a car that was in a service bay. Police said the officer also tried to get into the car to arrest the man, but he drove off.
The vehicle then hit the police cruiser going out down across the street onto New Britain Avenue with the officer inside, struck a civilian vehicle that was traveling westbound on New Britain Avenue. Despite repeated efforts and orders to stop the vehicle, the individual did not.
So the police chief said that's when the officer shot the man. The car then crashed into a telephone pole. Officers tried to save the man's life, but he ultimately died at a hospital. Police have not released his name at this point. They did say the officer who shot him was also hospitalized, but is expected to be okay. The Office of the Inspector General is still investigating everything that happened. Now, the mother whose 2-year-old boy died by falling out of a window in Hartford is set to face a judge this morning.
Yeah, so she's expected to enter a plea to 11 charges stemming from his death. Fox 61's Lindsay Kane joining us live in Hartford this morning with the details. Good morning, Lindsay.
Hi, good morning. 34-year-old Tabitha Frank is being charged with manslaughter and risk of injury to a child. A few weeks ago, her 2-year-old son Cornelius Williams died when he fell from the 3rd-floor apartment window of the family's apartment here in Hartford. Now, the toddler and his young siblings were all home alone at the time. Frank is being charged with 10 counts of risk of injury to a child. That's 2 counts for each of the 5 children. 1 count because the children were home alone. The other count because police say the apartment was in deplorable condition. Tabitha Frank speaking out in Hartford yesterday before her hearing this morning, not talking about her case, but instead pleading for help burying her son. She says she cannot afford a burial and has until next week to gather the nearly $6,000 she needs to bury Cornelius, nicknamed Papa, from a resemblance to his grandfather.
To know him was to love him. To anybody that knew him, knew of him, Papa was a good kid. I don't want to cremate my son. I would like for him to be buried so that his sisters could have somewhere to go.
Frank says childcare was supposed to be on the way that day when she left her apartment to work for extra money for her 5 children. The Department of Children and Families said it had been involved with the family before. The agency last visited the family in June, but officials say they were in the process of closing the case. Now, Frank is currently out on bond. Again, she is expected to appear here at Hartford Superior Court this morning. We'll bring you the very latest on air, online, and of course on Fox 61 Plus as we learn more as to what is going on inside the courtroom this morning. Live in Hartford, Lindsay Kane, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Alrighty, thank you, Lindsay. Attorneys for the woman charged in the disappearance and likely death of Jennifer Dulos say there was no probable cause for the search of the suspect's home. In a 5-hour hearing in Stamford, attorneys for Michelle Troconis say the warrant was too broad. They say police took more than a dozen devices from the Farmington home Troconis shared with Dulos' estranged husband, Fotis. Troconis and Dulos were dating when Jennifer Dulos was last seen alive back in 2019. Troconis' lawyers want the judge to exclude the evidence and return the items.
They had the right to essentially strip this house, every corner of this house, based on this warrant without the slightest probable cause or limitation.
The idea that simply because the officers in executing this warrant may have seen things that weren't covered by the warrant, that somehow makes it overbroad. If that's the test, I would suggest that every search warrant ever executed would be overbroad.
Troconis' lawyers are also hoping to suppress some of the evidence from a cell tower dump back in 2019. Police say Fotis Dulos traveled to several places and was seen on camera getting rid of clothing that appeared bloody. Troconis is charged with evidence tampering and hindering prosecution in connection to the presumed death of Jennifer Dulos.
Norwalk police arrested a man who they say tried to kidnap a child from a car. That happened Sunday on Boughton Street. Police said Jose Domingo walked to the back of the car and tried to take the child right out of the car seat. They said the child's mother was there and held on to the child. Police said that Domingo then asked the mother if she wanted to sell the child and even offered her money. Police said the mother and child were able to get away and call for help, and police said they found Domingo just a few minutes later and took him into custody.
On a lighter note here, if you're heading to Hartford this weekend, expect some company. Authorities issuing a traffic advisory for the city because several events are happening downtown. This includes the West Indian Day Parade and Festival. The parade starts at noon on Albany Avenue and Main Street, and it ends with the festival over at Bushnell Park. Fun time out there. I went last year. And just a few streets away over at the XL Center, there will be 2 Hot Wheels monster truck shows. The first show will begin at 12:30 p.m. The second show kicking off at 7:30 p.m. A reminder, get there early because there are several road closures in the area. Tim, I actually got inside one of those Hot Wheel monster trucks at my last station.
Oh, did you?
In Jackson. It is incredible. It's I can't explain it.
You need a ladder to get up onto it?
You know, I need some help for sure.
Yeah, I bet. Did you crush cars?
No.
Did you like jump up or
No,
you
no.
just got in?
I just got in there for the shot. I was too scared to actually
That's all right.
do the ride.
Good enough. That is fun. All right.